I was like, oh my God, this guy's just like massive action. Like everything I threw in front of Jeff, like what makes Jeff's on this journey, this 777 project, which you know about, which is he's trying to make $777 million in what time frame?
I think it was just $77 million, right?
So did I 10x you?
Yeah,
I just 10x you, dude, by accident.
Here's the thing, keep doing it.
I just 10x you. So
honestly, sometimes I do so many powerful talks.
So I just 10x'd him.
Money's just a way to keep score, man. That's really all it is. Les Brown's 2 words were, you say it?
No, you better.
It's possible. I'm gonna sync it up later on. Les Brown say, you never heard Les Brown say that?
Go. No, Les Brown was my dad. So.
Oh. Alright, so I now own a 4-unit cash flow property, and I'm in the investment quadrant. So anybody who's been watching the Money March videos has seen the cash flow quadrant, right? You're familiar with that?
Yep.
Cool story. So I called a few real estate agents before you know what? So here's the thing, I always say I'm focused on no girls, right? And what am I doing? I'm calling every good looking girl on a business card, right? About everything of real estate agents, because I'm like, well, I'm gonna talk about it. I knew I was gonna put them on YouTube, and I knew if, we have a good looking girl and I'm talking real estate, we get more views, right?
So I'm not the good looking girl, so how did you find me?
Yeah, I wound up just searching
Investor
foreclosures.
Secrets, okay,
Yeah,
keep going.
I started searching foreclosures, right?
Yeah.
And his name kept popping up on Zillow, right? Josh Brown, the Iron Agent, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we're putting the tag, the Iron Agent here. I went up clicking on a foreclosure, and I was like, take action. I knew real estate, I wanted to get into real estate. I didn't know how, but I knew I invested $1,000 on a Doug Clark scammy kind of sleazeball-y course, but it taught me. I went to 3 days of the course, and I learned all about stuff.
But here's the neat part. You called me, Jeff, and you said to me, hey, I just signed up for this real estate course. I'm trying to figure out how to get into real estate investing. I know I want to invest, but I don't know how. And I remember you saying, I signed up for this course. Everybody's telling me I'm wasting my money. And everybody told you you were wasting your money. And I just stopped you and I was like, Jeff, did you learn anything in that course? And you were like, well, yeah, I learned all this stuff, right? So just for the record, at the time I told you, it was like, it didn't matter whose course it was. I said, I don't care which real estate course you take. Yeah. But what you said to me that was amazing was, I took the course and it said I need to do a bunch of stuff, so I'm out here trying to do it, right? And I'm like, that's awesome. And I was like, so the $1,000 you spent on the course, which everybody's real estate course is $1,000, right? They're all $997. You can look up any real estate course.
Yeah, mine was $997. Yeah,
it's $997. Okay, yeah. and then it's $10,000 worth of value for $997, which is great. Like, and I'm not against any of those things. I've taken many of those courses, and those are a real estate education.
Yeah.
But I remember my conversation with you, and you were so relieved when I told you that investment of $1,000 was like the best thing you ever did, and just stick with it. And I remember telling you, like, don't take 3 more classes and get yourself all confused.
Yeah.
I was like, you took 1 class.
Right, yeah.
I don't even know, and I remember saying, I don't even know if the guy's in the state that we live in, right? So let's take
He wasn't, he was in Utah.
Right, Utah. So take Connecticut and Utah, take the real estate courses and the real estate laws in those 2 states, nothing alike.
Right.
So I said, okay, show me the materials.
That scared me when he told me, what state was this? Like, oh, I knew I should have looked at it sooner, right? But
and you felt guilty, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, don't worry, dude. You bought a class, you took initiative, and you're learning. So I'm like, let's take the courses that they gave you in the material.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to Connecticut. I'll look at it. I'll tell you what's legal and what's not legal here. And if I don't know, I'll go to a local one of the attorneys I know, and we'll find out, and we'll make sure it's legal so that you're doing the right thing and you're operating with integrity, right?
Right, yeah.
Which is number 1 for anybody doing anything with other people out there and other people's money and other people's lives. Like, integrity is number 1.
Right. And the one question, do you remember the one question, the pre-qualifying question I asked you?
I don't remember it.
What is it? I asked everybody. Rob Weinberg, I asked him too. All these guys that do business, anybody on Instagram.
And just to give a quick shout out, Rob Weinberg did a phenomenal job for you on your mortgage. I didn't know Rob before you came to me with Rob, but I will tell you, when it came down to Rob knowing his stuff and Rob delivering and Rob being like, Rob taking my every call and taking your every call and overcoming obstacles on this transaction, he was phenomenal. So And the one thing I've learned about you is you definitely do seek out the right people.
Yeah.
Like you attract the right people and you find
get on the right team.
you know?
Well, a lot of it's affirmation, saying stuff, praying, all that stuff. But this, so I felt, okay, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm thinking of myself as a business. I'm going to pre-qualify whoever I bring up with me. So the question I asked him, and I asked Rob the same question.
I don't remember, so go ahead.
Is, do you know who Grant Cardone is? Do you remember me asking you that?
I do remember you asking me
a
that.
big thing to me, because my brother passed away. I got over depression because of Grant Cardone's video. I read his book. I wouldn't have bought the course if I didn't read his book, because he was all like, take massive action, go away. Massive action was, I remember just put up my credit card right away. My brother's like, what, are you crazy? Buying the course led me to this guy here. And then I knew I didn't think I had the money at the time.
Right.
I remember thinking, I'm a teacher, I don't get paid a lot. I've been claiming my taxes, being that, but like popular. How you know it's
The
a
phone
good real
rings,
estate
right?
agent if they're busy. And he's making a lot. He always made time for me all the time here, but he was always busy, always had something to do,
Well, you're at work 100%, and then you're either 100% with your family or you're 100% at work, but you can't. There's no such thing as a balanced life.
Right.
And I've learned that.
Yes. See.
So there's
yes.
no such
This
thing.
is why I like this guy.
So you're
Fit it all in.
either 100% present.
Is that the wife there though?
No, it's another real estate call, which again, you can't be present in two things at once.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm taking this call.
Yeah, I know.
My assistant will probably get that when it rolls over, and that's okay.
We can read the spots, or you can take the call. I don't want to lose, calls or money. I know that.
It's going to roll to my assistant, so I wouldn't worry about it. But you don't live to work, right? You work to live. So you gotta prioritize your life and your family and all that other stuff first. And you do prioritize. Like in my life, when I'm with my family, I'm 100% with my family. I won't lie.
Jim Rome, the one guy, said, when you're at the beach, be at the beach. When you're at work, be at work. And I always think that all the time, because
Brilliant, right?
I used to be at the beach working. And I like it. That's what I like doing work.
And I'm going to get you out of that habit. So
Yeah, but I like that. One day.
Next time you'll be at the beach.
5 years I'll be in the beach.
And in 5 years you'll at the beach, and your employees will be working for you while you're at the beach.
I didn't read. I had it. Do you remember a book you told me to read?
I did. It was
I mentioned it, and you said
Napoleon
read that
Hill.
book.
It was the Napoleon Hill book.
Yep.
What's the name of it? Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
book. So I read that book. I've read it twice since.
The modern edition, not the old one.
Yeah,
the
it's a lot
modern edition.
easier to go through. So if you guys have not read the book, most of the viewers here have read it because they're all in the entrepreneur world, right?
And like the thing that blew me away was you read the book, and then you called me back like 2 days later, and you were doing half the stuff in the book, and I was like, oh my God, this guy's just like massive action. Like everything I threw in front of Jeff, like what makes Jeff on this journey Jeff's on this journey, this 777 project, which you know about, which is he's trying to make $777 million in what time frame?
I think it was just $77 million, right?
So did I 10x you?
Yeah,
I just 10x you, dude, by accident.
Here's the thing, keep doing it.
I just 10x you. So
honestly, sometimes I do so many powerful talks.
So I just 10x'd him.
Money's just a way to keep score, man. That's really all it is.
So, anyways, you're limiting yourself with your 77 thinking. So
yes, that's true.
And I can already see 77 is going to be it's interesting, but aside from the thinking part of it, the action part of it's really like a huge thing. So you go out there, you're talking to people who are you're talking to the people who are doing it always.
Yeah.
So you're like when you inspire others always, like you are inspiring others. You're out there, you're talking to people who are making money. Yeah. You're asking how they're doing it, and then you're trying to share it with other people because there's an educator inside of you. Jeff teaches high school classes. I don't know if everybody out there knows that. When I met Jeff, like at first I wasn't really sure where he was at or where his head was at, and then he's
I
like,
was all over the place. Right?
And then he's like,
still am.
But he's like, in a good way though, and but he was like, yeah, and I teach high school kids and I do all this stuff. And when he said he taught high school kids, I was like, wow, okay, like I got to get to know this guy. And my wife's a school teacher, so. So from my perspective, I have a ton of respect for teachers. I have a ton of respect for any public servants, for that matter. Anybody who does anything in the public.
Yeah, me too.
And and when I met you and found out you were a teacher, and you were telling me how much you care about kids and how much you care about people and how much you care about helping other people, like which is like your core mission of inspiring other people. I don't know. That's when I knew I was like. The first phone call we had with each other, we said, we don't care how this happens or whether, and I remember you saying this, you said this to me, you go, I don't care if I ever buy a property with you, we're just going to be friends and this is going to go somewhere for a long time.
I didn't think we'd buy a property. I really didn't. I only wanted to buy a property with him to be like, well, this guy helped me buy a property. I didn't really care about the property. It was more about the people and the education. I was like, one day I'll get there, Something I knew. And I was so here's the thing, I take massive action, right? With real estate, I was nervous as heck. I never bought a house. I didn't know anything about foundations. I didn't know anything about roofs. I don't even know, I still don't know a lot about windows. I know I have good windows where I bought, but I don't know a lot of stuff. When I went through what, and this is what you're getting a real estate agent in anything. Any person you surround yourself who's been there before, like how long have you been doing this, real estate?
15 years.
15 years. And when he walked in and we were going to houses that I knew I wasn't gonna buy, he would say, no, it's a learning experience. Look at these windows. Look at this. Look at, you remember doing that? And it was just like, it gave me such a confidence boost. So 10 years ago, I was selfless, chasing girls. If this YouTube channel was there, there'd be every pretty girl on here, and I'd probably be doing it all for the wrong reason. And it wasn't for my brother, which you've seen my brother and the stuff he does, who got to me, and this other girl got to me a little bit. Josh Lewis Grove, he's great. He would always hem on me, nah, you gotta not focus this way. And I used to fake it, like I used to fake more and lie more about myself to be happier and compete with everybody and want to be the best. And because a lot of times, I grew up being an athlete, so that was the thing, was be the best quarterback, be that. And I took that into life. And I remember Jen Baisley, I don't think she's watching this, but some girl, she's like, Jeff, you just compete too much.
I don't know who she is, but I'm gonna find her and send this to her. Keep going.
Yeah, we'll send it. But even though I was not really someone I was proud of, and I think it's Les Brown, who I listened to a lot of him, he said, someone said to him, Les, you're not the same person anymore. And he said, I'm not, I changed. And I feel like, I have my same tendencies, still doing this, I used to do a lot of selfies, but now I do, now I've really changed and kind of come over. It's
well, and
cool.
and it's funny.
And I always change, always get better,
And you're focused on yourself, but you're focused on yourself in a way that you're using yourself as a channel to help other people, which I think is like when I met you, what I noticed about you, and what I don't know is I don't know your whole backstory. I don't know everything about where you came from, but I don't need to know where you came from. I know where you are now. And what I know about you is you're this guy who's genuine, honest. You're vulnerable about where you are. You're not doing this thing where you're pretending you're something you're not. You don't pretend you know something if you don't know it, and you're humble about that. And like the fact that you came to me and you're like I want to learn from you, and I'm humble, and like teach me what I don't know, and you're a reciprocal guy, right? You wanna give back. You want to help other people, right? And just so you know, I'm gonna give this back to you because your inspire others thing. Just that saying and just the fact that you lead with that makes me realize, like I've learned a lesson from it, and that's that I'm supposed to inspire other people. There's a lot of stuff I do that I don't always put out in the spotlight about what I do, and what I've learned is like people are always watching you, whether you know it or you don't know it. There's always people watching you. So your family watches you, your friends watch you, your followers on YouTube watch you, kids watch you, right? Your students at school watch you. My kids watch me. And what you do literally dictates to them how they're supposed to be or what they could be. So they see you and they think, wow, I could be like him. And like, it's funny, but here you are, this YouTube blogger guy. Guess what my kids want to be?
A YouTube blogger.
They want to be you. They don't even want to be a realtor anymore. They want to be Jeff J. Cunningham, which is like, I thought it was cool. Like I met one of the brothers from.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Who went through a whole bad, and maybe it's because now I'm in the entrepreneurial world and we're all Grant Cardone 10Xers, really overachievers. But I believe we went through a whole social selfie generation, and now it's kind of everybody kind of got sick of themselves, and now it's like, okay, but what can we do to kind of help each other? I really believe we're kind of in a different thing. But maybe that's because I surround myself with people. I know there's a lot of I don't watch the news. I don't even watch sports that much anymore.
You don't take pictures of yourself in your bathroom in front of the mirror,
no,
do you?
I used
post
to
them on Facebook.
No, I used to. Everybody knows I used to do that when I was 22, and I thought that every girl would like me, and this is why. And yeah, I'll totally admit that.
So they all did. You had too many of them, and then you realized.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
Not the right thing.
But let me ask you, how
long
long have you been married for?
13 years.
So 13. That's longer than any time I've been. I did do 13 months once, but what's the one? Now you can answer this later, but I want you to think of one little nugget, and I've been doing this all the time to everybody. Usually I ask people, old couple when I'm bartending, I'll ask them, but I ask anybody, but it's something that really made it work between you and her. I see, when he's always with me, he's always on the phone with her.
If I could give you one thing.
Yeah, you have it right now?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You see, look at that.
If there's only one thing you could possibly do, one thing, when they talk to you, you drop what you're doing and you look them in the eye and you actually pay attention to what they're saying.
What if there's like a sports game on you want to watch? What if they're going on and they're complaining? What about that?
I can't help you there. All I can say is if somebody wants your attention and they're important to you, pay attention to them.
Wow.
And in fact,
that's good.
That just doesn't go for wives. That goes for anybody in your life.
Yeah.
Like when they're talking to you.
Yeah.
Like the whole I'm on my cell phone while my kids are in the room or across from me. None of that. This thing is poison. Put it aside and pay attention to people. And you know what? In general, if you put other people before yourself and you kind of pay attention to the people around you in your life, that's the best advice I could give you ever. Yeah.
I had no confidence. Not no confidence. I had a little confidence, but I didn't think I could pull off this deal. Before you did, that was going to cash flow right away.
All right, I want you to stop there for one reason.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny that you brought up confidence because your brother. What's the name of your brother's blog?
Josh Lewis Growth.
Josh Lewis Growth.
JoshLewisGrowth.com actually.
And this feeds right into what you were doing, and this feeds right into your question. I was curious about his brother because I wanted to know if Jeff's brother was like him. And he is. It's kind of crazy. So I look up Josh Lewis, and he has the same first name as me, so I thought that was cool too. I looked up his blog, and he had this blog on confidence, right? So I'm watching his blog on confidence, and he has this amazing blog. And what I learned from it, what I learned, and you should watch it. It's short and it's brilliant. And I don't know if Josh gives himself enough credit for it or not, but when I read it, I was like, wow. And when he talked about confidence, and I don't want to give the whole thing away, you need to go watch it. But when I watched it, what it made me realize was the more you know about something and the more you practice something, the more confidence you have. And with you and your buying process and your confidence going from curiosity, starting at a point of curiosity right around the time you called me, to a point of education, knowledge, comfort, confidence, like that confidence comes from learning and doing and trying. And we were going out and we were looking at houses and we were doing, you would call me every other day with questions. And it was funny in the beginning. I remember you were hesitant to call me because you felt like you might be wasting my time. And now we talk a lot. He calls me a lot, and it's like it's never a waste of time. You spent $1,000 on a real estate course, right?
Which doesn't sound like a lot anymore, actually. Now that
right. Now
the cash flow is exactly.
Now for most agents, right? For most buyers, if you're out there and you're a buyer and you're trying to buy real estate for the first time, just know that the real estate fees are typically covered by the seller, and it doesn't cost you money to have an expert working for you. That said, Jeff spent $997 plus tax on his real estate course, who he took from whoever. I don't care which guru it was.
Nathan Osmond was the one who sold it to me. He was Donnie Osmond's cousin.
And one point I want to make that I don't want you to miss, and I don't want anybody watching this to miss, is you spent $997 for a class. You bought a real estate asset, and that building is giving you $1,550 of cash flow every month.
Right.
And I'm going to get out my calculator because my math is going to get funny on this. But,
as you do that.
But let me run it. I want to run it.
We're going to run it through at the end of this, we're going to run through some real estate terms that he's going to break down.
So watch this: $1,550 a month. Right. So did your class pay for itself in the first month of owning the building?
Yes, it did.
All right. So times 12 is $18,600 of gross cash flow of net income off of your building. Of net income off of your building in a 12-month period. $18,000.
Yeah, that's not bad. So while you sleep right there.
So did the $1,000 class give you $18,000? No. But it gave you the confidence to take some action, to go out, make the phone calls, and find the people who could help you do the real estate investment you wanted to do. So they, in a sense, helped you chase your dream. So I don't care whose class you took, they did you a favor by having you take the class. The difference between you and the other 90 people in the class is you took action on it, and the difference between taking action and not taking action is $18,000 a year.
Yeah, it's never
do it, and if it doesn't work, find the next strategy.
It's funny. I just wanted to be the landlord. I wanted to do that. I just thought it would be cool. I have a whole. I want to do a landlord course one day, right? Like a way where you can actually charge them more rent and change their lives.
And you just put that into the universe, and now you got to go do it. It'll find you.
Eventually, that's so true, man. When I put it out there, that's why you're right. There's something. So you believe in affirmations then?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely. Like when you say you're
I
going to
feel
do
like when you
something,
say
you're going to do it.
I feel like it's like kooky or people don't believe it. And whatever, my brother says, Tony Robbins says it, indications or whatever, that's like saying it with enforcement, like you believe it, right? Like every day I look in the mirror and I say, I have a millionaire mind, money's attracting me. That's I got from one of the books, right? I've actually...
The Millionaire Mind. Right?
Yeah, I think it's the Millionaire Mindset. Shimmick, my buddy, he's getting married this week. He doesn't like me mentioning he did, but he's great. He's great. He's the one who told me to read that book. And you told me to Think, Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich, yeah.
Those and 10X Rule. There's a lot of books. So
about to travel to Panama.
I know.
So it's like,
so you really are going to Panama.
Yeah.
So here, now really quick, and I'm going to put this part definitely on the YouTube. So I have a lot of people. I tell them, oh, watch my YouTube channel. My real estate agent's going to be on here, and here he is. He's right here. Okay. And it's funny because. If you guys are looking for a real estate agent and or anything you don't know, you're about to sell your house, you're about to buy a house, you're looking to buy a house, there's plenty of good people. There's a million people out there. And I don't know how busy this guy is. I will say I've never seen, and I can really say this, the most selfless, just wants to help out. I think you noticed how good I was, so I think it made it easier. Not that sounds egocentric there, but I mean you noticed that I had the pure right intentions, right? So you really wanted to help me. You really want to get me in a good deal. But I think you'd want to do that to anybody, right?
yeah, I mean,
that's a good real estate agent. You want to give them the house they want, right?
you want to see people be highly successful in whatever they do. For me, if there's a negative outcome at the end of it, I don't want to be part of it, right? So like, if I can, and I have a simple rule around that. Like when someone comes into my space, I don't care how they come into my space. I don't care if they're just calling me off the street. My rule is I just want them to leave me in a better place than when they found me.
Yeah.
And that could be as simple as one short phone call. That could be as simple as, 5 years of buying real estate together. It doesn't matter, but I try to leave a positive impression on people or a positive contribution every time I come in contact with someone, and that's my personal business philosophy. So it's doing the right thing for other people first, and then the money follows doing the right thing always, and it's always, I would rather not be engaged in a piece of business if it's going to be negative or it's going to be a bad experience for someone. That's just never something that's going to end.
Like you wouldn't
well,
take dirty money and make it clean, like all my students are talking about doing.
I've never heard of it, but good luck. So
what you said is great. So here, tell the listeners, tell everybody else a little bit about you, because I remember did you call any of the leads I got you? People always, I'm like a lead generator, right? People always want to give me their number.
You're always finding people. So the funny thing is, and you learn this about people, when you hand out business cards, you need to say, hey, call this guy.
Right.
They never do it.
Right.
Yeah. The people you give the card to never make the call.
Very true.
Which
they never subscribe to the channel. I'm like, hey, subscribe.
All right, that's because you told them to.
Yeah.
If I tell people to subscribe to Jeff's channel, you're going to do it, right?
Yeah, see, we'll probably...
Because it's not him telling you to do it, it's me.
That is true, And actually, guys, share this too. If you find any value, we're going to do some real estate. I'm going to cut out all the nuggets of this. But if you find any nuggets and you have any dreams to do anything is possible, man. It really is. It is possible. The fact that I have a 4-unit right now, and I didn't think it was possible.
And so, but you don't...
Yeah,
you're careful about who you tell. You're careful about picking the right people to tell people who support you and believe in you. You're telling your dreams to, and they're making it happen for you.
That is true. I'm careful of the people I pick with me to come up with me, right? That's what I'm careful of. I'll tell my dreams to anybody. There's still a girl from Boston who's drunk who told me, you'll never be a millionaire, and that's ringing through my head. And it doesn't matter. She's some girl from Boston, knew my Brooke or whatever. But I'm like that crab in the bucket, and if you tell me you're not going to do it, I do it. So they kind of.
So you use it. So and I think for a guy like you or me, we use that as fuel.
Yeah, as motivation. There's a lot of guys like that.
Oh,
Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, these titans.
And sometimes your best friends are the worst ones. Like and like. We all love our best friends, but occasionally you tell your best friend something.
Well, this kid Anthony, and I love him, but I do a lot. I'm like Trump. I do a lot of misspellings in my tweetings, put him out. He won't comment, share anything, but anything with misspelling, he'll put it out there. Now he's helping me out, and I know he means it from the goodness of his heart. But he's the
he could text you privately and tell you that.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Right.
But he does. Sometimes he does it private. Sometimes he does it. I don't really care. My whole point is, for him, I remember going out with him a few times, and he would harp on oh, well, I won't do business with you because of this rule, right? And I said, well, you're just one person, and there's a million people who are going to do business with me. And I went out and found him, and he's great. And he's doing his own thing, and he's a smart guy. He's very talented too. Yeah. I'm just very driven, right?
Stop you for a second. Jeff just held up his phone and showed me the video of we were standing in the attorney's office,
Yeah.
and you could just see the glow around you in that moment. Like looking at that video, the glow that you had.
If you guys look on
it was surreal. Yeah.
Jeff the Entrepreneur, go click under the 10X highlights. You can watch that video under there on Instagram. You also see I had a huge acne mark that day too. And I was like, oh, I really don't want to do a video.
And no one would notice it except you just pointed it out.
And I still, no, I always, I put it all out there, man. That was,
Yeah.
I do want to get over a few real estate terms with you because you are kind of the real estate guy.
Yeah.
What does, well, this big one everybody knows. What does ROI stand for?
So return on investment.
Right, I didn't know that. I remember I didn't know that. Like 2 years ago, I don't think I knew that, which is
And it's
crazy.
And it's such a loosely used term today.
But it should be used more, no? Like everything.
When I went to
should be
business
called
school,
ROI.
ROI was a thing, right?
But why shouldn't that be a thing in like education? That everything's ROI. Like you go buying those Jordans is ROI. You know, you wanting that Louis Vuitton bag is ROI. What's the ROI on that? You know, me sitting with you, not even caring about if this podcast thing pays anything is a good ROI. Like not just monetarily, but also otherwise, right?
Well, this has like ROIs aren't always measurable in cash.
Right. Yeah.
So return on investment is usually, they're looking at cash on cash or whatever kind of return you're looking at, right? But return cash on a financed investment, whatever the return is. There's a lot of stuff you put out into the universe that's not necessarily that you can't attach monetary. You can't do an ROI on. Like you're going to do a podcast here, and you might connect with someone, or you might change somebody's life or the trajectory, their entire life. Just one podcast right here, and it's like I don't know how you put an ROI on that. And the funny thing is, what was the investment? You and I are going to sit down.
Good time, yeah.
You're a professional camera guy, so you have a bunch of camera stuff, which is really cool. However, I mean, what is this? It's the investment of an hour of two people to share an experience that hopefully per your journey, you're going to inspire other people with it. And who knows where that could lead.
And if anything, dude, I'm going to be sitting in Kokomo J's one day and I'm going to be watching back some of these videos. Like people's like, Jeff, when are you going to relax? And I already know I'm going to be watching this video or one of these videos from that. I already have it like, when you visualize something, I visualize me starting quarterback for a team and winning a game on a fourth quarter drive. And then I did it. Took a lot of work, didn't do it overnight. I couldn't throw a football, but I still did it. I got laughed at, everything. I love that Gandhi quote. Do you know that quote? First they laugh at you. Do you know that one? First they mock you. No, first they laugh at you, then they mock you, then they fight you, then you win. You ever hear that one? But it's been my life, man. Like anything, whether I raised my hand to become a lifeguard, and a girl laughed, and she's, you won't be a lifeguard. And I got up in the pool and started, and I'm a horrible swimmer. Like I swim at 6 a.m. And so sometimes you kind of need that, like that little. I love that quote.
I probably didn't see myself swimming 2.4 miles in an Ironman either, but
let's actually talk about that. Let's pivot from the real estate stuff. So let's talk like you like hockey.
Yeah, like I actually coach hockey.
Hockey, so I say you like it too, right? You coach.
Yeah, I grew up playing hockey. Love hockey.
So where did the Ironman? Do you know who David Goggins is, by the way?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, that guy's crazy. My buddy.
He has that
Sean,
book. You Can't Hurt Me.
My sister, yeah, he has that book. There's also Living with a Seal, Jesse Itzler. My family watches all this stuff. Noreen watched it. Hi, Noreen. Aunt Nancy, Jesse Itzler. We actually saw him at the next book.
My wife's Noreen, so I can remember that.
Is it really?
I'm gonna say hi, Noreen, too.
Yeah, perfect. How did you get into Ironmans? I'm gonna do one eventually. Probably gonna do one together. I bought running shoes. I'll get there. Miracle Morning, all that
you
stuff.
just put it out into the universe.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Weird things happen.
I gotta figure out how I vlog, but I need that backpack through the air. I gotta like figure it all out.
I just hid your car key, so you have to run home with me. We're gonna run home today.
Do it, man. I'll do whatever, man. As long as I get to my 7 o'clock appointment with Rob.
How far away is he? We'll run to it.
We'll run.
Ironman's a weird thing because I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and says I'm gonna do a 140-mile consecutive event. Like I don't know anybody who would wake up in the morning
I was
and
all
do that.
like, I want to do an Ironman, then he said 140 miles. Okay, I'm good.
No, I wasn't a runner. In fact, when I started, this is a crazy story, right? When I started running, I was going to do a 100-mile bicycle event called the Pan Mass Challenge in Boston that raises money for like Dana Farber and the Jimmy Fund and all that.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a 100-mile bike event, and I was the only clown that showed up on a full suspension mountain bike at the time, right? Everybody else had road bikes. I showed up with a full suspension mountain bike for a 100-mile ride, which was just ridiculous. Like everybody was like, "You're crazy," but I was like, a little bit. I liked the attention, I think, but my legs didn't really like the attention so much. It was painful. But my point was, I started running.
What is a full suspension? That means it's really comfortable or not comfortable?
Comfortable. Well, I mean, it's a mountain bike. It's got shocks in the front and back.
So most of them
It's an
don't
off-road.
have
It's an
it,
off-road
right?
bike.
It's off-road. Okay, yeah, that's like what I had. Yeah.
Yeah, but like for a road ride, you want smooth little skinny road tires. You
Yeah, I
don't,
know.
you don't want a big heavy mountain bike.
Yeah, why do you want those? I feel like you'd want the suspension, the comfort for that.
Yeah, no, not so much. So, but anyways, I started running to get ready for that. Did that event, kind of gave me the flavor of running, and I got into running to get ready because I knew I'm gonna go 100 miles. I'm gonna need some stamina, right? So I started running and biking to get ready for the event, and I was mixing runs in between the bike rides, and then at some point I kept running longer and longer, and I started to get into adventure racing, which is like off-road mixed. You're running around with a compass, and you're mountain biking, and you're trail running, and
So it's
bushwhacking.
not like warrior dashing, this is totally different, right?
Yeah, like you literally have a map and a compass, and you're in the woods, and you're out in the wilderness. But I was getting shin splints like crazy to the point that I almost quit running. Like my shins would hurt me so much.
Well, David Goggins, listen to this up. Yeah.
Yeah,
He had a story like this.
Yeah, and I mean, I was at the point where I almost couldn't. I almost couldn't move. Like it hurt me to walk, and my shin splints were getting so bad, and my sneakers weren't doing me any justice, and my running style was wrong, and I almost quit running altogether. Needless to say, fast forward to being able to do multiple Ironmans. It's a different feeling. Out once a week and do something they love that's somewhat physical or emotional, physical, whatever it is. Even once a week, it can change the way their whole week goes. And when you feel good about yourself, you show up better for your family. You show up better at work. You show up better for your friends. Like you show up better all around when you feel good about yourself. So for me, exercise in my life. Some people think, oh, he's an Ironman, he must sacrifice other things, right? He might sacrifice his family. And well, the answer is no, I don't. I don't sacrifice my family. I might get up at 5 in the morning when they're all sleeping to do a long bout of exercise. But sometimes I'm back before they're even out of bed. So like I'm not disrupting anybody, but I feel good, my energy's good, and yeah, I made a sacrifice, right? I got up early and I did something, but for me, and I'll take it a step further with exercise. Like exercise is one of those things, and I don't care if it's yoga, I don't care if it's running, biking, whatever you do. If you have friends or people who you enjoy being with when you go do those activities, it makes them a whole lot easier.
Well, that's kind of the same thing with me, this entrepreneur journey. People are like, Jeff, do you like doing business? And you liked it? I was like, yeah, because the people I picked with me, Logan, a great kid who I'll work with him, we'll do another real estate deal together, we'll do whatever, we'll go to Panama together, we'll do whatever, right? Because now, yes, it's work, but now I picked the same thing, right? You pick the people you want with you, and it's life. This is your life. You can pick whoever you want and bring them with you. Like you really can. Like it's really that way. And leave the people who don't believe in you, and take the people who do. But as long as you're always learning and growing and trying to make yourself a little bit better, then you'll actually do it, because then you won't blame other people. You'll know, hey, I gotta get that.
I guarantee you the stuff that you're talking about here, people are going to want to hear it, because frankly, what you just did and the journey that you just went through, and the stuff that we talked about, how you overcome all these obstacles along the way, that's everyone else's journey. Like everybody's there, and the only way you're going to inspire others is by sharing it.
So let's say this, for all my teacher buddy friends watching this, right? Or anybody else here, restaurant friends, they want to buy a 4-unit like I did. What's the first step for them to do? What's the first step? If they want to do it, is call, which is what I did. I called you, I called a few other people, I called Rob.
Call
right?
a real estate agent.
Talk to people who've done it before. Now, is it essential for the real estate agent to be an investor to have known? Because that was my thing. I put that on my thing.
And I mean, when you called me, you were like, well, how, and you were coming from this place of curiosity. You're like, and of course, I kind of knew you were interviewing me, but you're like,
I was qualifying me.
He was pre-qualifying me, which you should do with anybody you work with, right? You want to get to know them a little bit. You want to know what they're capable of, because if they're not capable of what you want, you're talking to the wrong person.
Right. You always can take a phone call, right? What's the best way for people to contact you? Should I put your information down and give it to me later, put it on the bottom of this video?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, they can call me on my cell phone if they want to.
Yeah.
So like, I'll put it out now. It's 860-328-0166. Again, 860-328-0166. Yeah, people can call me, text me there, whatever. But if somebody wants help with anything. I
And
mean,
my whole thing-
my thing is I want to guide people in the right direction. If they call me, I'm going to point them in the right direction, even if I'm not the right person for them.
Yeah.
I'll point them to somebody
Well,
else who is if it's not my area of expertise.
And it's funny, this guy's like Indiana Jones in real estate. He went through some basements. I was like, I'm not gonna go. And he's like, no, let's go check it out. Let's see if there's asbestos in there.
Kept calling me
Let's see
that.
this thing. Dude, he had his leather jacket on. He's going in where it's dark. He's going through the bushes. Like, he wasn't afraid to get dirty. And I remember thinking, man, I no offense to any cute girls doing real estate. I don't know if they'd be going through these little, like, I can picture these girls in their high heels. You know, they get in there, they want to make money and get cash flow and stuff. I don't know.
I don't recommend wearing heels in the basement of an investment property. That's
Right.
probably not a.
Yeah, not the best thing.
So,
to
so
do.
if you're getting an agent, just make sure they're not wearing really sharp heels because they're probably not going to walk the building with you and point stuff out.
Right, yeah, I mean, and that's-
and by the way, no, that's not a negative. Like
Right.
like there, I know a ton of female agents who are phenomenal.
Right.
Just if they take you out and they're wearing heels, they're probably not going in the basement with you. That's all.
And
So-
the one that's willing to sacrifice heels to go out there. and
you
go
want the
through
one in the
basement.
sneakers. You want a female agent with sneakers on. That's what you want.
So, all right. So this is ending up here quick, really quick, and wow, we're over an hour. NOI. What's that stand for?
So net operating income.
Yeah, and that's basically kind of after. So if I hand this correctly, and it's funny because I remember my brother Josh knew more about it than me. I didn't know anything. He said, Josh, he said NOI to me, and I didn't know what it meant, and it hurt me. And he's like, oh, watch Grant's real estate. Grant Cardone's real estate investing.
Yeah.
So I watched it. Wound up doing the whole deal, pulled this all off, and I have a text from my brother, which probably means the most out of anybody, and I've had a lot of people say, Jeff, you inspire me. My brother said, hey, you inspired me that you did this. When I brought the pre-approval loan from Rob, there was 280, he's like, what are you doing, man? Like, how you doing this, you know? And it was crazy, because NOI is basically when you take whatever, like, you know, me paying for the plow or whatever I have to pay for, right? All the expenses, and then with the kid, we said 18K.
So net operating income, the simplest.
Simple.
And net operating income is usually used for determining the cash flow before taxes and depreciation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at the net cash flow of a building, right? So you have gross operating income.
Right, this is the 18K
You know,
we talked about, yeah.
less vacancy and less expenses. So you got your plowing and your mortgage and all that other stuff, right? Well, actually, NOI doesn't include the mortgage. So that's before the mortgage too. That's before financing.
So what had a lot of investors now I'm an investor, I put nice picture. The picture you took, actually, I could hire this guy for photography. Took a great picture of the sunset on the property. I'll
Of
throw
your
it up
4-unit
here.
building.
Of the 4-unit building.
You better throw it into this video.
I'll throw it. It's up there right now.
Nobody
People
wants to see
looking
this
at it
video
right now.
without your building.
No, there's gonna be a lot of B-roll. We'll put stuff like that in there too.
That was a pretty picture though, and it was
Oh,
funny
it was a
because I
great
was parked
picture.
next door when we were at the building, and the sun was shining on it, and I just I pulled my phone out and I was like, I got to get a picture of this to send
I'll
to
show
Jeff
it to you.
after he
Look,
closes.
this is what I put on my.
There's a lot of
This
cool
is the most
stuff.
complete. I feel like this is Joe Rogan's podcast right here. Where you just
You
ever
do
see
it.
Joe Rogan?
And you know what's amazing to me
Yeah.
is you do this amazing. Like, I love your podcasts.
Yeah.
I watch your podcasts,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it's just. It's neat. I've actually seen you grow on your podcasts, and like you're growing and evolving, and I've watched your website and I've watched it evolve, and I'm like, you can actually see you on your own entrepreneur journey growing, so people can actually watch. There's like a historical trail of you doing what you're doing, and actually they can go back in time and see where you were 6 months ago and where you are right now, and it's like
you
it's
can
so
see
cool.
that the audio quality on this podcast is way better because I figured out, and unless I could record from here, I could have brought a big mic. This is simple thanks to Clark Kegley. Clark Kegley, he's going to be, I think, one of my coaches.
Yep.
He does a lot of this in his videos, and it works. It actually works really well. But it's learning, it's growing, and honestly, done is better than perfect. You said it, like, you know.
And some coffee's better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Something's better than
It's
nothing,
something
right?
like that. All right. Well, this was definitely better than not doing anything. I'm so glad you made time. I know you're gonna get home to the wife. We got to get out of here. Inspire others always. Jeff J. Cunningham. Always. This guy inspired me. I hope this inspired you guys. Guys, if you have any questions about real estate investing, reach out to me and I'll point you into the right people. You reach out to this guy. You got his number.
Just say to yourself every day, it's possible. Just say that every day to yourself, it's possible.